Welcome back to Divination Detectives. Today, we're going to go on a journey into the rugged shadow peaks of Oklahoma's San Bois Mountains. In October of 2009, the Jameson family drove up a mountain road and drove straight out of normal reality. They left a truck unloaded with $32,000 of cash untouched. And also, they had a starving dog in the car. They had all of their ID, and the family basically vanished off the face of the earth. But beneath the physical evidence, there lies a labyrinth of demonic hauntings, requests for enchanted bullets, and a final photograph of a child looking into the eyes of an absolute terror. Did they succumb to the wilderness, a predatory local cult, or did the dark entities they fled from actually catch up to them? Very good questions. So today we're going to take a peek here and try to uncover what's happened to this family, the Jameson family.
Yeah.
And
So,
Gogo will give us a little more, maybe like facts that we can start on, and then we'll start, jumping into some questions.
yeah. So the disappearance happened on October 8th, 2009. And this was Bobby Jameson, who was 44 at the time, and his wife Sherilynn, who was 40, and their young daughter of 6 years old, vanishing in the San Bois Mountains, as you mentioned, in southeastern Oklahoma. So this was at the time, they were looking at a remote plot that they were planning or thinking of buying. This was like a 40-acre plot of land. And basically, what was left behind them is a crime scene that really makes no freaking sense. So, as you mentioned, the truck that they traveled in was found 8 days after they had originally vanished. And it was parked on a remote mountain well with in the car, which you also mentioned, a $32,000 amount in cash, and their
Wow.
dog, who miraculously was alive, along with their wallets, IDs, cell phones, like everything was left in the car, indicating that they potentially might have exited the car in a lot of hurry. There were absolutely no signs of struggle, no blood, and no footprints surrounding the vehicle in itself, indicating again that potentially they left of their own free will, not being forced. And then the grim discovery in 2013, 4 years later after their disappearance, hunters found their skeletal remains lined up side by side, less than 3 miles from the truck.
Oh, wow.
Which, 3 miles doesn't sound that
That's a
bad.
long time. That's
It's,
that's a long walk for a 6-year-old.
yeah, that's what I was thinking. Like, for an adult, it's
Yeah.
like not too bad. Like, you go on a hike, you go on a walk, and just extend it.
Yeah.
But for a 6-year-old child, you would imagine they would get cranky after a while, particularly
Mm.
if they have to walk the entire time.
Mm-hmm.
And the kind of the dead end with all of this is, due to severe decomposition, the medical examiner could never determine a cause or manner of death, so it kind of remains a mystery. So, some of the interesting facts or theories around all of this and what happened. So, home surveillance from the morning that they left their house shows Bobby and Sherilynn packing their truck in a very silent, repetitive, robotic trance, entirely failing to speak or look at one another. Spiritual warfare was also part of this story. The couple had, before their disappearance, consulted their local pastor about a severe dark spirit infestation in their home.
Ooh. Okay.
Yeah, we also have ghostly playmates. Their 6-year-old daughter, Madyson, had begun talking to an entity named Emily, which Sherilyn was convinced was a malevolent demonic presence. Why is it always Emily? Why is it always like a cute girly name? And it's like, it's a demon. It's a demon,
Yeah.
but it's Emily. Special bullets, which also mentioned in the beginning, shortly before
Mm.
disappearing, Bobby frantically asked his pastor where he could get or buy spiritually charged bullets to shoot entities he claimed were living on his roof. So, like,
What?
basically bullets to shoot demons. The missing briefcase and the witchcraft. Sherilyn's personal journal contained dark, erratic writings and a quote-unquote witch Bible. A brown briefcase she was seen packing on video alongside her 22 caliber handgun that was never found. So she packed that the morning before they left, but that was not found at the crime scene or with their bodies or person.
Okay.
And then the final photograph, which was very controversial. Police recovered a camera from the truck containing a final photo of Madyson in the woods. Her expression is widely described by viewers as deeply distressed, frozen in fear, but then people also debating whether or not it's just a 6-year-old that was like, I don't want to take a picture, or just,
Okay.
dissatisfied about something, or frowning, or just, being a child, or if she was actually, in distress. So the kind of the main theories with this is that potentially they would have been on drugs. So methamphetamine, to be more specific, that they were known to use or have been suspected to use in history. Uh, or a mental health induced paranoia drove them to abandon their truck and wander blindly into the elements, basically succumbing to natural death. Then we have the possibility of this being a cult activity or a doing of a cult. The mountains of southeast Oklahoma were rumored to harbor local white supremacist groups or esoteric cults that the family accidentally stumbled upon, which
Oops.
is,
Okay.
some like horror movie shit. And Family Feud theory, Bobby was embroiled in a bitter, threatening lawsuit with his own father, though his father passed away 2 months prior to the disappearance. So maybe there was, some sort of family situation going on there. And then the theory of the unseen threat, a local land deal con artist or a drug runner forced them out of the vehicle at gunpoint, missing the massive stash of cash hidden right under the seat. So it could be ghosts, demons, it could be psychosis due to drugs, it could be, literally like somebody taking them off natural causes due to them, like, being on drugs and not knowing what they're doing and just
Mm.
wandering out and then passing. There was some theories that suggested because the handgun that was obviously always carried by one of them, or Cheryl, I believe, in particular, that they might have committed suicide, or suicide and
Did you
murder.
read did you read like if there was any like bullets found in the
No,
bodies or it was just bones?
no,
Okay.
no. It was just bones. This is why there is
Yeah.
no conclusive um, finish to this story to know, like, oh, they were shot or they,
Okay.
come to
Just
natural
inconclusive.
elements. And this is
Um,
also
hmm.
wilderness, so there is also decomposition plus wildlife
Yeah.
effects. So
Um,
it makes
but
it
did you,
difficult.
I think you mentioned that it looked like they were all laying beside each other though, right? Like they
Yeah,
were
they
all
were
together.
they were
Yeah.
all like laying beside each other,
Okay.
in like a perfect
Interesting.
row. So
Okay.
that was, that could suggest that the parents potentially like shoot themselves. The girl didn't know where to go, so just laid beside them and succumbed to natural elements. All of them were killed. Um, Again, potentiality of like suicide or murder, or just succumbing to natural elements, and they're like huddling together to stay alive and dying that way. Heat, exhaustion, whatever. So
Okay.
it's like it's there's so much ifs and so much maybe this, maybe that you genuinely don't know what's going on.
All right. Very good. So I think this would be good to kind of work backwards, like maybe tap into like their final moments and like the energy around that in the
Mm-hmm.
woods. Because like I feel like they were in the woods for a certain amount of time. And so we could probably pick up on some energy there and then maybe work back from that, like who was involved in this kind of thing. What do you think?
That that sounds really good. Yeah, I like that. I like the
Mhm.
sound of that.
All right. So we have, what was the dad? The dad's name was Bob. So we have Bob, Cheryl, and
And
Madyson.
Madyson, yeah. Let me see. Let me just double check if that's their names. Bobby, Sherilyn, and Madyson.
Okay. All right. Interesting cards that I got for sure.
What are you
So what
getting?
I did, Goran, is I pulled one card for each person, like what their final like energy was like. So for Bobby, I got this card. It's Six of Swords. And in this depiction, there's like one cat in the front that is in a grassy field and he's walking forward out of a big mess of like a cat fight in behind him. So there's several cats fighting in behind him. And then
Okay.
he's charging like out of it. So I feel like the first thing I feel like it was the dad's idea to like go out here, and it's almost like he was trying to get his
Way.
family away from this chaos and turmoil.
Mm-hmm.
And then the second card I got for Cheryl was the tower. So it's like there's cats falling off the tower, like her world's come crashing down. I think this has to do a lot with their home too, because it's like where they thought was safe and was a home. It's like she realized that's not the case anymore. And with the tower card, like we have a big kind of like mental shift inside of us. And that causes us to act in a certain way. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the final card makes me so sad because it's the Three of Swords, and this is for Madyson. So, in this card, there's actually three cats. So, mom, dad, her. This is sad. That's
Mm-hmm.
crazy. These cards are just bang on. And with Three of Swords, there's like a sadness and a loneliness. And it's like, I feel like you're like kind of with that last picture, like a fear. Like there's definitely like feeling like scared and just going along with it. In this um, depiction, there's two cats like kind of on a fence or a wall, and there's two that are up higher, and then the little cat in the back is kind of just following along.
Mm.
Um, so yeah, I feel like she was worried, she was feeling scared, and she was just doing what she was told.
Yeah.
What do you have for that?
Well, I will start off by saying that um, I have to agree on all counts with everything that you said so far. What I
Mhm.
got for the beginning, I pulled the same way, so we could kind of align that way to see where we differ and what sort of information we can pick up individually. We start off with Bobby, Ten of Wands, and then the Knight of Cups in reverse. So with the Ten of Wands, it definitely is that release. What you got with the, I believe, Six of Swords you got, or Six of Wands? Six of Swords.
Six of Swords. Yeah.
So that sort of release of tension, being able to sort of leave things behind and step away from the chaos, from the pressure, from the anxiety. So I would agree that this is most likely his idea of like going out there. The final moments is like, I'm finally able to let go. Now, this Knight of Cups in reverse, to me, is like drugs.
Okay.
To me, this is like, I am not necessarily clear in my head. I'm acting
Mhm.
out of emotion, since this is in reverse and it's also cups. It's
Mhm.
making me think like I'm high on something, and it's either allowing me to kind of work from like this space of like seeking more peace. So like if it's Mary Jane or something, that's like I
Right.
want more of that. So I want to escape into like peacefulness. But if
Mhm.
it's, methamphetamine, I feel like just making this sort of erratic or creating erratic behavior, unpredictable behavior. Now, the thing that shocked me when I pulled the first row of cards and then for the shadow for the second row, I got Ten of Pentacles for Sherilynn.
Okay.
What do you think I got for the shadow for Sherilynn?
I don't know, the tower?
The
Did
freaking
ya?
tower. Yeah,
Lordy. Okay. And
I got.
it's funny you got two tens too, because
Yep.
it just kind of amounts to all the pressure they were under and kind of like this endingness with the number
Yeah.
10. But yeah, that doesn't surprise me you get the tower. I wonder, maybe we'll tap in more with the tower. Like, I wonder if it was like
Yeah.
overall she was feeling this or in the instant where she was like, oh shit, like,
So
this is
I
not
was
what I thought.
focusing more so on like that moment, like right before they passed
Okay,
over.
perfect.
And
Okay, that makes
it
sense.
feels like in that moment, it was like, this is finally released. This is like that breaking point. It all kind of amounted to this. And everything sort of led us to this moment almost. And I feel like the two tens, right, one right after another, as you mentioned as well, like it's almost like they knew that this was gonna happen. Well, maybe not that exact scenario, but like the fact that something's gonna have to break, that something's gonna give eventually, and that
Hmm.
there is a possibility that they would die. I think that they were aware of that to some degree.
Okay, okay.
Um, but I think that with the tower coming through, it also makes me think that Sherilyn wasn't expecting it. The tower is that
Yes.
like
Okay.
sudden, unpredictable thing. I'm kind of almost leaning towards the fact that maybe Bobby thought about it before.
Yep.
Maybe he had something to
Um,
do even with it, like surprising her, but like taking her gun and shooting her. I don't like, we will get more into that, but that's kind of the feeling that I'm getting is like maybe getting, his hit and then just fucking going bonkers and like shooting her or something. Because for her is like, is that breaking point as I'm taking my last breath, I'm like finally able to relax, but this is definitely not something that I would have expected. Like this is the structure built on like very, very, very weak grounds or foundations, right? So to me, that's kind of a
mhm.
representative of their relationship, potential like her partner being the cause of that. And
Okay.
then Madyson, I got the Knight of Pentacles in reverse, and with that, the Five of Pentacles. Like, the Five of Pentacles is that card where we have the figures walking out in the winter, like with their
Oh,
kind of a
yeah.
raggedy clothes. So to me, it kind of doesn't feel like she was killed. It feels like she would have died of natural causes, which would support the idea of like
Mm.
parents potentially like dying first and then her just waiting by their bodies and dying of natural causes out of
Oh,
thirst, hunger,
yeah.
exhaustion. Because like this Knight of Pentacles is like, I'm losing strength, which is
Hmm.
extremely sad. But that's kind of the impression that I get is like, I'm so exhausted I can't go on anymore. So I don't think that she was necessarily hurt, but I think she died of natural causes. Whereas the parents are, I feel like, a bit questionable. I don't know if you would agree so far.
Yeah, because if you really think about like the human body, like you can, what is it, only 2 days without water that you can go?
I think three, like day three, you're
Yeah,
like having, I think day two, you're having delusions, I believe.
yeah. Okay.
So,
So where should we go from here?
um,
I really feel like, yeah, it was the dad had this plan to take
yeah.
them out here.
Do you
Um,
wanna do you like that morning, like, or the day of their trip, like before they got into that, before they stopped their car, like what was happening that day that led up to their moment of fasting. Do you want to do that?
Sure. So
See
kind
if
of like
we
getting
get,
into the why, like why they were going
yeah.
out.
And like, why stop so randomly in like the forest? Let's do that. Like, what happened like during the trip, or like during their drive, or that day to see. Because I heard of this story a couple of years back, and
Okay.
then I didn't do much research afterwards. But now doing research, there's like, and again, this is, how credible can this be? Because you read certain things and sometimes it's true and sometimes it's not true. Like the video footage from their home, like they're acting weird while packing, like robotic. That's the first time I'm hearing it. So that part I'm uncertain of, like, is that actually true or not? And whether or not that's verifiable information. Maybe that's like a clue. Like maybe they got high in the morning. I feel like you're getting something.
Yeah, I'm getting the I don't like the hermit when this context
Okay.
because I'm getting the hermit for uh, 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 um yeah, so I guess what I was asking is like what was the nature of their energy like when they're packing up and leaving. So yeah, so I have the hermit. So I feel like there was, a lot of like isolation of the family. Like they felt very isolated and very like stuck in the space. And then it came out with the Nine of Cups reversed and the Queen of Swords. So I feel like it was like their desire to go to the Queen of Swords energy to get clarity, to find the truth. Because I feel like with this Hermit card, it's almost like they're doing soul searching, right? And you said that she was doing like a lot of journaling, but it was really all fucked up. And so I feel like this energy of like wherever they were kind of like keeping their self was it was like misaligned. It's like they kind of thought one thing was happening when something else was happening. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like that desire for clarity, that desire for breaking free of that energy is kind of like what pushed them to do this. So you were mentioning that they were like going to look at a property, and maybe that's why they had this money because they could have like put on a down payment or put in an offer.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I feel like this kind of was the plan, but also like where did they get all that money? Like there might be some shady stuff tied to the money.
That's
Like,
that's also true
um,
because like usually, I mean, I don't know many like true stories that I've heard of like people dealing with drugs and then them also having like a shit ton of money. Usually it's like I was scraping by to buy drugs and the more I bought, the more I wanted, so the less money I had. Like that's usually the
yeah,
story. So yeah, doesn't really add up as well. I don't know.
yeah, it's odd. It's so odd. Like, um, but yeah, I wonder what else with the Nine of Cups. But I feel like with the Nine of Cups, it was like their own desire to do this. I don't feel like it was like outside people
Mm-mm.
that formulated this plan or started this course of action. I just feel like it was coming from within, like coming from themselves, coming from the dark.
Yeah.
And if they were involved with drugs and stuff and seeing entities in the house, like we know that they're living in this lower vibe where they're susceptible to some of the darkness. And it could, have to do with the space or just, the vibes in general that they were dealing with. And yes, their poor daughter was living in. Um, but when you look at like poltergeist stories and like hauntings and things like this, like the kids always see everything, but
Yep.
sometimes I feel like there are protective spirits there to help the kids or protect the kids from the darker stuff. So I don't feel like, what I mean? I don't feel like the terrorizing of like their souls was 100%. Like I feel like a lot of it was brought on their self.
Like hallucinations, you mean?
Yeah, and it's almost like yeah, feeding into the fear. And then she's like almost diving deeper into the fear instead of into the truth. You know what I mean? So
Yeah,
I feel like there was a lot of, yeah, trickery with the dark forces. And they were kind of like, yeah, we got them now. Like,
yeah,
let's feed them some more delusions. Let's, that kind of thing. So it just, yeah, it feels very dark. It feels very low. I almost feel like my whole body just wants to like lay on the floor. It's so weird.
yeah.
So yeah, I feel like they were just trying with this Queen of Swords to feel lighter and to break free and to find their truth. And yeah, it didn't work out. I don't know.
Hmm. Yeah, I would have to agree because I almost feel like it's kind of a part spiritual or religious paranoia
Yeah.
combined with like maybe actual like mental health issues
Mm-hmm.
onset by like use of drugs or just general mental health issues that would have been increased as a result of drug use.
Yeah.
Because how I separated the reading to kind of have a bit more kind of a clarity and idea of what's happening, I set it up like before they got into the car, like what did that morning look like, I guess,
Mm-hmm.
and then like how did the car drive look
Okay.
like, and then overall energy. So before like getting into the car, we have Knight of Pentacles and the Tower both in reverse coming up again. And it feels like this kind of a vicious cycle we can't get out. Like things like
Yeah.
just keep happening, and it's dark and it's like very rigid, and it feels like we can't get out. It's interesting that the sword in this particular card for the Knight of Pentacles looks very much like a cross. So to me, it sort of
Okay.
feels like being turned upside down. It's like there is something happening, we're seeing something, we're unable to escape. And even like this tower is like very, very creepy depiction of the tower. And it feels like a lot of anxiousness, a lot of energy of just anticipation, like something's gonna happen. And
Mm-hmm.
we don't know what, but we like need to get away. Because as soon as we turn into or step into the energy of like what was the drive like, it's not ideal, but it is better. It is slightly lighter. We have Four of Cups, so I feel like the trip in itself might have been slightly melancholic because of like everything and sort of being able to step away from all of it in the moment. Like might have felt momentarily good, but like the weight of potentially having to return back or having to deal with the same problems for them was like it almost feels like the entire family was just like feeling very melancholic and sort of this kind of a sense of anxiousness of why do we have to go back, when are things going to change. And then with the entrance of the Hierophant into the picture, particularly in reverse, it sort of feels like the influence, the advice feels like religious. So if they fed into this idea of like demonic energies or entities or bad juju, bad spirits, it almost feels like this is what we're supposed to do. So it's almost like they were following like a plan or an idea that might have been presented to them, but it's not like somebody was leading them down on it. It almost feels like this is a self-created thing. Like we came up with the fact that we want to do this. Maybe we were fed the idea, but nobody told us we have to go here or do this or take this route or end this way. So it feels again like maybe like following some sort of like a fanatic story, or like a twisted story from like the Bible or some sort of like scripture,
Mm-hmm.
where there was like witchcraft involved, like maybe some sort of dark spell. And it's like we need X, Y, and Z ingredients, and they needed to get it. But then with the story of them looking at a property, that's also another thing. Maybe they were hoping that they would just simply get away from whatever bad juju was there. But I feel like maybe there were hallucinations during the way there. You have the page of page Nine of Pentacles in the last kind of overall energy in reverse, and that's very
So
interesting.
Yeah, I feel like the dad lied to the mom
Yeah,
about the land. I feel like
doesn't
because when I
feel.
just took the pendulum and I was asking like the land that they were found on, is that what they were going to buy? Like, is that the land that was for sale? And it said no.
Mm-mm. No, no. I feel like they were looking like at a property. I think at
Okay.
a house, but they were found in the
Okay.
woods.
They were found in the wood. Yeah.
But
So it's like,
the
but you know
I
what I mean?
had the
Like he
same
could be like
feeling.
driving her out and saying, it's out here. Let's keep
Yeah,
going down the road, you know, and that's what I think that tower came in is like she's realizing in the drive, like this is not the house we were talking about.
yeah. But I think
This
she still trusted him.
okay.
I feel like I mean, trusted him. Yeah, like the tower to me is like indication of like maybe things aren't always good between the two of us. Like maybe there's fighting or arguments or something. Particularly if there's like drug use or like delusions happening.
Hmm.
Um, but it's like we are a united front, like we're together. I don't
Okay.
genuinely think that she expected to be betrayed. Because like that tower moment is like right at the moment of her passing.
Okay.
So to
Yeah.
me, it's almost like I didn't know that this was going to happen, maybe even during the drive. Maybe I had, what I think you're picking up is like maybe she had suspicions or thoughts of like
Okay.
something is going on, maybe something doesn't feel good. Like, as I said, like the drive feels like very tense, awkward,
Yeah,
melancholic.
because she still like got out and like left the dog. Like she must not
Yeah,
have thought they were going for long.
yeah,
Or maybe
yeah.
he's like, oh, let's walk around. Like this is the property. Let's look around. Or, you know, like I feel like he had this
Planned.
hidden plan from her,
That would make sense. Yeah.
but they formulated this other plan together. So even the money, I feel like she got it together. Is that weird?
No, I wanted to say like she felt like the one that would be organizing things and even the
Yeah.
money. I was getting that feeling before, so I can
Yeah. And
confirm
then
that.
at the
Yeah.
end, and then she's like, holy shit, this is not what I organized. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah. And even like
Um,
you have
hmm.
kids, so you know how they are with animals. I don't believe like a 6 year would be like, oh, let's leave the
No.
dog in the car.
No.
It's like, let's take the doggy with us for a walk. That at least
Mhm.
that's what I would imagine. Um, so I don't
Yeah.
know. It's weird.
But it's so weird. But the dog could have helped, right? So maybe that's why he knew the dog couldn't come. The other thing too is like I got these Lenormand cards out and I was just kind of asking like general like about like why they were in the woods. And I got the man came out with the what is this? The bird made the man with the house. Okay, so which is about family, right? And then he
Yeah.
was it was his face is looking towards, look at this peaceful little fox laying in the grass.
Yeah, but Fox
It's
is
like
trickery.
he was trying to find peace for his family. He was trying to find a solution. He was trying to find like
Yep.
yeah, it's like he led the family. He I feel like in his heart or in his delusions, whatever he was thinking, feeling, he felt like it was the right thing to do.
Yeah, but do not forget that Fox is oftentimes also trickery and lies.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Or maybe
And
he
that's what
believed
I
that he was
mean.
doing a good
It
thing,
was
but
like smooth operator with the fox.
yeah,
It's sly, it's cunning. Um, but it's like he was in charge of like bringing his family to this place. And, but I feel like, but I don't feel like it was like super malicious. I felt like he was at the end of like, what's next besides, you know,
besides
being
this,
saved by like literal heaven at this point.
yeah, like I feel like the personal struggle like becoming too much.
Hmm.
Oh, okay, that's interesting. Um, so I'm just pulling like what's happening before, um, like before they're passing or before they're about to die, like just collectively, like what's the energy, what's the vibe? And we have the Five of Swords in reverse. So it almost feels like there might have been some sort of argument, some sort of dispute,
Yeah.
um, that they maybe sort of put aside for the time being, like just before they died. Um, but neither of them like really feeling satisfied with how the fight ended. We have the Ace of Cups in reverse, and this almost feels like there might have been some conversations about like either getting separated or something, even, I would dare
Okay.
say. And like not really being happy anymore, or like not being in love anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And also to me, like this reversal is like the cup is getting dry, so maybe the love aspect has gone, and the potentiality of them also like feeling overwhelmed with emotion. That's not
Mm-hmm.
necessarily like love or care, but could be like anger, frustration, or desire to even murder. Ending
Mm-hmm.
with a lovely, 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 lovely Three of Cups in reverse.
Oh, three again, like the
So
three of them.
the three of them, but I think this is also potentially like a third person in the marriage, or like maybe Sherilyn figure out he had somebody
Oh.
on the side, or like cheated on her, or maybe even Sherilyn had found somebody else. Just feels like the two of them, like the parents, Sherilyn and Bobby,
Mm-hmm.
maybe had a fight about like not wanting to be together, or like the marriage not functioning and wanting like different things. But this also
Mm-hmm.
feels like a very private, because I've not heard anything about that aspect or potentiality in like
Mm.
any of the articles or anything. So maybe this was like a new thing, or something that they kept like very close to themselves.
It could have been like the deciding factor for him to pull the
Yeah,
trigger on this plan, or like
yeah,
it definitely was one of the factors, right? But
that's what I'm thinking,
um,
because it almost feels like she might have been thinking more rationally, where his behavior is erratic.
okay, yeah, yeah. And I asked like, like, what was his intention for the plan?
Mm-hmm.
I got the weirdest card. It's a card. It's a number 32, which again is a five. But it says hope. And it says actually a mountain in the card. Like it's just this woman looking up at the mountain. That's creepy. So he's like, fine. He's like, and then I was like, is it hope for life or hope for death? And for life, I got the Hierophant. Um, and the hope for death, it was like the Ten of Swords reversed. So,
Mm,
or sorry, I said, was it hope to die? And I got the Hierophant. And then it was hope to live was the Ten of Swords reversed. So kind of like what you were going on about, like at the beginning, about kind of like maybe there was like some religious teachings or occult teachings. There was some kind of like almost like structure that like
mm-hmm.
made them believe this. And it's kind of like what I just said a moment ago. Like we had no other option but like being saved by heaven, like going to
Yeah.
the other side.
Yep.
And that's kind of what it feels like. It's like
Death was the
I think
salvation.
he wanted them to all, yeah, pass away together or whatever to yeah, escape what they were dealing with, but also like, yeah, maybe just having hope that they would stay together forever, right? In the afterlife, if that one of them was going to leave. It's a weird card to get, but it's it kind of just validates like what like his intentions, like I feel weren't super malicious. It's like, but he didn't know any other way out of it, you know?
Yeah. I feel like I'm not really in favor of the idea of like a cult killed them. I don't
No,
necessarily think that, or that there was like somebody else at the scene doing
no,
any
I
sort of
don't either.
harm to them.
Mm-mm.
The idea of delusions, drugs, and all of that happening and like being a contributing factor, I would definitely say yes. And maybe that was, the reason why they got out there in the first place, like in the sense of got out of the car, maybe they had like this anxiousness and needed to get some fresh air, which I feel like is also influenced by him. I have to agree with you 100% in saying that I believe that he was the deciding factor in their deaths. I don't think that Sherilyn necessarily wanted that, nor did the little girl. But yeah, I don't think he harmed his daughter. I think he would have probably harmed the mother, Sherilyn, in some
Mhm.
sort of way, or injured
Mhm.
her in some sort of way, to the point where she would have been incapacitated or something, where she would eventually die, and then harmed himself in some sort of way, and then left uh, the little girl to be
Yeah.
exposed to the elements.
Yeah. So, oh, so sad. So
Yeah.
sad with the little girl. Oh, break my heart.
I mean, I think that
Yeah.
the I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. I think I would say probably a good thing that at least it doesn't seem like Madyson was harmed in any sort of way, even though it's like sad that
Mhm.
she was basically like left out there in a way.
Yeah.
Like
I
this
kind of
entire
get that.
story is like fucked up. Oh my god.
Yeah. I got two more cards here. So this one it says look to nature for healing. And it's like,
Hmm.
I don't know, this girl looking back. Because I was asking like for a message from Madyson. So that came out with again, it's another repeat card, the Nine of Cups reversed.
Hmm.
So I feel like she again I feel like this message is like picking up on her dad's intentions. It's like his wish was for them to, yeah, be out further, out in nature, away from this crazy, away from the
Yeah.
noise. And with the Nine of Cups reverse, that's to me is always like a desire, like a desire that you kind of like on, like you act on, or you kind of like push it a little more. It's not like
Hmm.
that just happens to you. It's like what I'm wishing for, the desire. And then this card in particular, like I'm using this cat deck, and there is like a cat that's sleeping, and then he has all these like it looks like he's dreaming up all these things on the card. He had again this dream, this delusion that's like if I get them out here, it's going to be okay, or I'll be able to send them back to God or whatever. I don't know how deep his vision went, but yeah, it's almost like her understanding her father, which I guess when you do cross over, you would have compassion and understanding for what
Yeah.
was, given to you in your life. So I just feel like her message was like, I feel like she still felt loved
Yeah.
and in all of this. And that she was really genuinely like trusting her father to just, make everything better.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I feel like that's what he told her when they're walking in the woods. Like, we're gonna be better. We're gonna escape from this. It's not gonna be this anymore, and like kind of reassuring her that way. And that's why too she had that Three of Swords at the end. It's kind of like that betrayal, that sadness, that abandonment.
I feel like
Yeah.
rebirth is like the entire is kind of woven through the entire everything that we are getting,
Okay.
sort of like seeking rebirth, seeking some sort of a new beginning.
Yeah.
And I feel like it went to an extreme in the end, unfortunately.
Mm-hmm.
But that was kind of what was sought after from the beginning. I feel like in a way, whether it be in the form of a new house, new property, or like getting away from their current location. But I think it ended in a more unpredictable way. I don't know if you would say this was planned necessarily, like exactly. I don't think necessarily that this was like a premeditated thing for like he planned this for like months and months and months. I
No.
think he came up with the idea for it maybe like an hour, like during the drive or something, like
Okay.
during
Yeah.
the trip.
Yeah. It's funny. I just got like the magician reversed for that. So it kind of validates like that quick energy.
Mm-hmm.
But also kind of like, because I was asking like how they actually died, and I don't know if we'll be able to get a specific answer with the cards on that, but I got Magician Reverse. So number one, it's the dad like mentally manipulating, or he's felt completely mentally manipulated
Manipulated.
because this is
Yeah.
Mercury, on the lowest level. But also, um, it makes me feel like, yeah, it makes me feel like there wasn't a weapon per se. It almost is kind of like everything was there. Like it's like your bare hands. It's like a strangulation,
That would
or
make
something
sense.
like this. But I don't know how he would have died. But he could have just also died after, if they were out there for a couple days and,
True.
fed into their delusions of like, no, we're just going to stay here and not move or something. But yeah, I feel like maybe Cheryl got killed first, and then him and the girl were
Survived.
left after.
I mean, survived.
But
Lived on for a little bit.
he made it. Yeah, but he kind of orchestrated to the little girl, like, just lay down, go to sleep. Like,
Well, you also
you
have to
know,
consider that Sherilyn had a gun,
okay, that's right. Yeah.
so maybe,
Okay, and that could be the tool. Yeah, maybe he did. But you think they would have found like a bullet or
or even the gun itself,
like a shell or
something.
something with the
Yeah,
bones? But again, who knows if that got moved? Who knows
mm,
if they even fat looked, because they would have just found bones, right? Like they might not have had a big search if it was out in the middle of nowhere,
that's
like a
true.
thorough search.
That's true. And I
Um,
believe that the area was searched, but I I I believe that they sort of the bodies were discovered later on because there was like a landslide.
mhm.
So it's almost like basically nature like covering up their bodies over time over the 4 years. Um, but yeah, it's a very weird one. What I got was King of Swords for his death in reverse.
Oh,
So to me, this is like King of Swords is like a very rational person, right? That's like all
mhm.
up in the mind. So when you flip
Yeah,
that upside down, it's like it becomes erratic, it becomes unstable, it becomes illogical, and it's almost like the inhibitions overpower the logic. So to me, this
yeah.
is like either influence of alcohol or drugs or psychosis or something taking over, and him just making an impulsive decision. So with Sherilyn, it's the Two of Swords.
Yeah.
I want to say maybe she was stabbed. Maybe there was a knife.
Okay.
I'm
Yeah.
also thinking like nothing being found, right?
Hmm.
Like a knife
That's
is
the
like
other
a
thing, right?
shiny object. Maybe like birds picked it up, and because like crows like to take shit that shines.
But what if too, like he killed her, and then him and the little girl like kind of walked around, like maybe they got lost, like you know what I mean? Like
And
as
eventually
if,
came back.
and then eventually came back, because then you would be lethargic and slowed down, and like maybe it's nighttime and we're just gonna sleep here beside mom, like, but then they didn't wake up or something like this, like
That would make
because
sense.
he could have got rid of. That's what I'm saying. He could have walked, like if he did it, he could have got rid of the weapon or got put it in a different place.
True. And that never being found if it's like maybe another mile
Mm.
somewhere. Yeah, that would make sense. Yeah.
Because I feel that they weren't, they didn't all pass at the same time.
Mm-mm. Now I would have to agree. I feel like the controlling factor is the father for sure. Like that's the most
Definitely.
dominant energy, like the father energy. For the girl, I got Page of Wands, which is another. I feel like Earth on Earth, like taken back Earth. returning to Earth. It's almost like it's a
Hmm.
very indication to me of like something very natural in like, I
Yeah.
guess for lack of a better descriptor, like on her own terms in the sense of nobody's harming me, nobody's doing anything to me. Like
Hmm.
I'm just naturally passing away. So yeah, I feel like he's most likely responsible for Sherilyn, and then Madyson died of natural causes. For him, it's like I don't know. It's also swords. So yes, he's responsible for kind of his and her death, his wife's death. But like, I'm not getting a clear indication of like how he died. I
No,
guess
me neither.
exhaustion would make also sense. Like if he's drugged out of his mind or something, and then also like not having any water, prolonged starvation, dehydration, that would cause even more hallucinations and cause even more problems, and then just sort of withering away, basically. I guess
Yeah.
for lack
Yeah.
of a better word. Yeah, Ace of Pentacles. This is weakness in reverse. This is weakness and stability.
Hmm.
Eight of Pentacles in
Anyways,
reverse for Sherilyn. That to me is like indication of a tool. Again, possibly like something being used to hurt her,
okay.
and that being disposed. That makes sense.
Yeah. 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 I feel like my cards too kind of corroborate like Madyson staying alive because I got like the Six of Wands reversed
Yeah.
after the Three of Pentacles reversed, and Three of Pentacles reversed again, another three with the three
Yeah.
people. But it's like, yeah, people not doing their job as a parent, like not providing the proper um, structure, the proper necessities, just not doing their best
Yep.
physically.
Yep.
Um, and then, yeah, so it's almost like with the Six of Wands, it's like, it feels like, yeah, she kind of survived them too, but it was like with a broken heart or with, but then obviously, like, she wouldn't have had anywhere to go. And she was probably very, immobile and lethargic at this time.
I would
So it's
imagine
kind of
so.
like, then she kind of was, taken away by her angels, is how I feel.
Yeah.
And I feel too that, yeah, her angels, why is that coming up? I feel like they tried, they very definitely try to protect her as much as they could, and maybe had helped her kind of go peacefully in the end instead of the other way.
That makes sense.
I don't know why I felt like saying that or picked that up. I didn't even, get that from cards. I just feel like that's a thing that maybe would, if anyone's listening to this, that in our final moments, especially children, I feel like the beings do step in to avoid real suffering sometimes.
Yeah. I feel like in this
So,
scenario, it would make a lot of sense,
mhm.
particularly her being more open and like having her imaginary friend Emily.
Mhm.
Maybe that was like a guardian angel.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, sad all around though. But I feel like, yeah, I feel like the conclusion is it's like, yeah, I feel like there wasn't really other people involved. There could have been people like, trying to give them advice and helping along the way, or maybe steering them in the wrong direction along the way. But I think it ultimately came down to him, yeah, just succumbing to the delusions and feeding all the fears and making, yeah, very quick, rash decisions. And yeah, I feel like Cheryl was, yeah, right up into the end thinking they were doing something else
Yeah.
with buying the new home and all of that. But it's cool how like all the repeating cards we got, like the tower
Yeah.
reversed and the nines and the threes. It's wild.
And even the tens, like coming up
Yeah.
a couple of times. And this one is definitely heavy for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, whenever there's like a family, or I think just the inclusion of a 6-year-old child like makes it so much worse in the sense of how something like this can happen. But yeah, I
Yeah.
think we've got pretty much what we can.
Mhm.
If you're a practitioner and if you're interested in looking into this, let us know in the comments or send us a DM letting us know what you picked up or any sort of psychic impressions, information, whatever other tools you might use. You can find us on Divination Detectives, Divination underscore Detectives on Instagram and TikTok. You can find Alex on guiding underscore tarot or myself on tarot underscore shuffle on Instagram and Facebook. Both of us are on Facebook as well. And
Wonderful.
we hope you enjoyed, and let us know your thoughts, let us know your opinions, let us know what seems to be the most likely scenario for you, and if you agree with what we came up as the most plausible scenario for the story. Until next
All
time.
right. Till next time. Bye.